Hi, my name is Cindy Tunstall, and I love Cross Church, and I'm excited to get to talk about Grow Groups. You know, I've been going to a church that was a little far away, so I was looking for a church home that was closer to where I live. And I kind of always had this core value about going to church close by your home because it's easier to invite people to join you. So I knew I was going to have to find something closer. So when I started looking for a new church, I actually looked on Google and it popped up, and I started going to the website and looking at all of the core values for Cross Church, and I thought, I really like the things that I saw online. And then when I came in person, it was so much more than I was expecting. Everybody was so kind, and multiple people were coming up to me and greeting me and asking my name and, asking me a little bit about my story. And it was wonderful from the get. So I came that first Sunday and I just kept coming. So I love it here at Cross Church. I first connected with my Grow group because of the schedule. That was the most important thing for me, to find a group that could meet my schedule. I travel a lot, so I really needed an option where I would be able to still connect with my group even though I was out of town. So we offered an online group last year, so that was a great fit for me, and I knew that was the place for me. This year I'll be doing an in-person group, but I like it that we have the variety of options and about the schedule, because everybody has different needs. So that worked out really well for me. I was really grateful. Grow groups have a big impact on my journey. I know from times where, there's been seasons in my life where I wasn't in a part of a community. Maybe I was just going on Sunday morning, or because of travel, I was just watching online, but I wasn't meeting face to face. And the biggest thing that I noticed is, we have struggles during the year. We're all going to have a struggle, and things come up. And when I wasn't in a group, I didn't always have a person that I could reach out to when I was, having a hard time, or I wasn't able to receive prayer in a way that was somebody that really knows my struggle. Last year I had some really big challenges, and there's a couple of life events that happened within my family that were very difficult. My father has been battling cancer, and this past year it just physically took a toll on him. The treatment was just tearing him up, and I was able to share that journey with my Grow group and say, I'm really struggling in my faith walk this week. There would be times, my dad was a wonderful man, and we're very, very close, and so to watch his body, kind of breaking down, and it would kind of be hard on me some weeks, and I would be like, I'm really struggling, wondering why, bad things happen to good people, the big question that we all ask. And I was able to share those struggles with my small group, and they would pray for me. They would give me a hug, and they would say, I know this is hard, and they would share similar experiences and how they got through challenges. Even if it wasn't the exact same challenge that I was going through, they were able to open up to me and say, this is what I went through, and this is what helped me. And or even just randomly sending me a text, or sending me a little prayer, or Cindy, I read this verse in the Bible this morning, and it really made me think of you and what you're going through right now with your family. And it just made me feel like I wasn't alone, and that this wasn't going to be too hard for me, that together we were going to get through this challenge. I think about looking back over last year and what I went through and how my group was able to support me. Sometimes we don't understand why hard challenges come our way, and we don't really, we look at the scripture that, Jesus is a healer, and then we have somebody that we love, that we watch them struggle. But people can come alongside you, and they can encourage you with a word of hope, or they can say, we don't know why this is happening, but, we know that God is good in the midst of the really hard struggle. And Cindy, He's there with you, and He's going to help you get through this. And He's helping my mother in her grief, and just providing for all her ways that, all the unexpected things that we didn't know we were going to be facing this year. And He just kept providing. And my group was just so great to remind me of God's faithfulness. One of the things I loved about the online group is, at first you're looking at this screen and you see these little, face, and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm recognize these people when I come to church on Sunday, because I was fairly new to the church when I joined the group. But people in the group would go, hey, Cindy, I'm so-and-so from group. And so immediately, I formed friendships face to face with those people, because, you have this little square, and there was even people that live out of town that were in the online group. So some of those people I still text and talk to, but I've never met them face to face. Well, there's a lot of people in the group, and it's true for me every time I'm in a different group of people. There might be 20 people in there, and I'm not going to connect with every person in there on the same level. There might be this place where this friendship and I, really connect, and then there's other people that you meet in the group, and I think, I probably would have never chosen you as a friend. I would have never thought, because we're so different, our work is different, our age, or whatever, or you live over there and I live over here. I think it's so odd that we've placed together and formed this friendship. But when you're in small group, you start to share. You start to go, hey, I'm going through this thing, and whatever, or work's been a challenge this week, and you share a little thing about that, and then all of a sudden somebody hears that, and then they go, oh, I can't believe you did that, and I've done that, because you're just sharing little random little things about each other. You find these places of heart connect, and then you go, hey, I'd love to have coffee with you sometime, and then all of a sudden, over the year, and you start going to dinner and inviting them to this, and they invite you to this, and the friendship just goes so much deeper, and it ends up being something really beautiful. One thing that's really cool about being in a group is you could kind of talk about some things that you as a group care about, and then you could find little places where you could do some ministry things together. That they've volunteered with Refuge, or there's some talk about helping out with the schools that when the kids are going back to school. And so because your group is smaller and it's not the big whole corporate church, you could kind of have little discussions and say, where could we as a group go and serve together? Or, it gives you opportunity to kind of stretch yourself. Like, I may never have volunteered there without the opportunity to go with the group. And then after I've done it with the group, then I'm like, I really like that ministry. I really like what they're doing for the community, or I really care about helping teachers or students, whatever. You get exposure to different types of things that maybe you might not have tried if you hadn't done that with the group. So it's a really added blessing. And of course, it's fun to hang out, so that's always good too. I don't know if you're thinking about joining a small group, or if maybe you've never done that before, or maybe you've done it in the past and it wasn't a great experience for you. I want to challenge you to consider joining a group this year. Give it another chance. In the Bible, it tells us that we are to gather together to encourage each other or to be encouraged. Because one of those two things are going to be needed each week. There's going to be somebody in that group that you're going to share your story, and your story and how you got through that challenge is going to uplift somebody else. It's going to encourage them when they're feeling hopeless, or they didn't even realize that they're starting to feel despair. And you're going to share, this is something that happened to me, and you just share it casually because you got through it, and that other person gets to hear that, and their walk is forever changed because of what you shared. And it was just casual, just something you said off the cuff, and then God used it in a really mighty way. So I don't know what you're going through this year. I don't know what's ahead for you. I don't know what's ahead for me. God does. But I can assure you two things, that there's going to be things that happen in your life that are worth celebrating. And it's always better when you get to share that with other people. And I also know that there's going to be times where you have struggles. Some of those struggles are going to be just a little bump in the road, and then other times we're going to go through something that just knocks us off our feet, and we don't know how we're going to get through it. And when that happens, it's so great to have a people that are already in place to love on you and support you and encourage you and pray for you. And there's a million reasons not to go. We're all busy. We work a lot of hours, and our schedule, and taking kids here and there, and family obligations, and there's a lot of reasons that we could talk ourselves into being too busy. But I challenge you to push through that and look at it from a biblical perspective. What does God say about this? He says that we're to gather. He tells us that that's best for us, and He loves us, and He wants good things for us. So I encourage you to resist that temptation to skip out this year.